The book of Revelation is one of the most wonderful and one of the most misunderstood books of the Bible. It forms the last section in the New Testament, the books of prophecy. The Bible is made up of 66 books, divided into two main sections, the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Old Testament is further broken down into the books of history, the books of law, the books of poetry, the books of prophecy. The New Testament, 27 books, are broken up into sections as well. You have the Gospels, the history, the epistles, and the prophecy. And that's the last section we're going to look at today. There's one book that makes up the prophecy section. That's the book of Revelations. John the Apostle wrote that, and his introduction tells us what it's about. In Revelation 1, verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave him to show to his bondservants the things which must take place soon. The book of Revelations is a wonderful book that tells us of things that are to come, God revealing through the Apostle John what was to come. It starts off with 7 letters to the churches of Asia. Jesus writes through John to the churches of Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamum, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea. And these are wonderful letters. Each letter is a study in itself. And he writes to them about their conditions and the things that they need to do. And he finishes off that section in Revelation 4, verse 21, verse 20 and through to 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come to him and will dine with him and he with me. He who overcomes, I will grant to him to sit down with me on my throne, as I overcame and sat down with my Father on his throne. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. The book then goes on through a series of prophecies, the visions that are given to John. Now these use Hebrew prophetic languages, and this is where the great confusion comes in. So much of it by many people is taken literally. But what we see is God showing us through these visions what is to come. And the whole message of this book is that God will overcome, and those who stand with him and who remain with him and remain true to him will have the victory of eternal life in heaven. We see at the end of the book, in chapter 21, in verse 1, Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth passed away, and there were no longer any seas. And I saw a holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, made ready as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a voice from the throne saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is among men, and he will dwell among them, and they shall be his people, and God himself will be among them, and he will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and there will no longer be any death, there will be no longer any mourning, nor crying, nor pain, for the first things have passed away. God has promised us a rest in his eternal heaven. And the message of the book of Revelation is that if we remain faithful till death, we shall have life eternal. This book of Revelation finishes off our look into the different sections in the New Testament. And it gives us this wonderful hope, this hope of eternal life. My friends, eternal life is for us all. We read in John 3:16, For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish, but have eternal life. Jesus is knocking at the door. He will open for us if we only approach him and ask for him to save us. Jesus, just before he ascended back into heaven, gave us the key and how we can have that eternal life. He said, as is recorded in Mark 16:16, he who believes and is baptized will be saved. He who disbelieves will be condemned. My friends, we're here and we want to help you. If you would like to know more about the Bible, if you'd like to know more about God's plans for you, why don't you contact us? If you would like to obey the gospel, we are willing and very keen to help you to obey the gospel. Let us know right in the comment section below, and we'll get right back to you. Well, thank you very much once again for being with us and listening to us, and we hope to see you next time. Thank you, and goodbye for now.